That goes well with everything. Put it on a cracker. Put it
Ooh.
on some
Toast?
noodles, some pasta. I read something today that couples that choose pasta over what was the thing? It was something about God, I was all prepared, then I wasn't prepared. I'm going to bring this up for you. It was study finds eating pasta brings more happiness than music.
Okay.
I mean, especially around here when all the radio stations play country and that shit makes you sad. So eat the pasta. Stop with the country. But what you're hearing is me as Matt as Beard Laws. You know this. You know you're not here for the first time and stay out of my fridge. And if you are, then joining me, as always, is Brandon J. McDermott. And you've been whacking off. What's up, dudes?
Hi.
Hi.
What up?
It's been a week. It has been a week for all of us. Some of it good, some of it not so good. But it's been a week. Dad life has been pretty chaotic. I think that's been the tone. Usually we do the recording on one day, and you guys don't care, but we're doing it a day later because dad life got in the way. Obviously, you guys know basketball, especially for us. And the kid made a kind of a good point. Was Dad, how come the NBA plays during the winter and we do too as well, but the WNBA doesn't start till spring? And I was like, I don't know. I don't run either of those leagues, but that is something. Go ahead and message Caitlin Clark at gmail.com.
How come their balls are smaller? You know what I mean? I
Hey.
My guess is to the competition of judging between an NBA and a WNBA game. They're probably going to get more viewership when there's no basketball on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you know what I want to see? I want to see the NBA play with the women's ball and see if it would be a detriment to them because it's too small. You know what I'm saying? But B, like, I bet they'd be like just
Space Jam type stuff.
Fucking just passing it around the whole, like even more than they normally do.
Why don't they play with a weighted ball? That would be fun too. A bouncing 5-pounder.
Nice.
But there's probably all sorts of weird leagues. I mean, I was even seeing a league that was mixing football, hockey, there's some crazy stuff in other countries that we're really missing out over here.
I can't wait for it to pick up over here just because it's like all these. I love when like a new sport comes out and it starts taking waves and stuff. Like I remember when pickleball was like nothing, and now you see that shit everywhere. You know what I mean?
Everywhere.
But
the amount of pickleball injuries that are happening, it's unbelievable. I mean, let's be honest. At some point, you have to turn off the competitiveness, at least in sports, unless you're a premier top tier athlete. Like for me, I turned that switch off about 5 years ago. I said, you know what? I'm not playing pickup ball anymore. I'm not doing this. I'm not because I don't think I couldn't, but because the what is it? The risk outweighs the whatever. Because you get hurt, can't do your job, can't put food on the table. I live in a house full of women. I don't have food on that table. It's hell.
That's a dangerous recipe. Yeah, that's
yes.
You don't want that. You don't want that at all. And no, I mean the orthopedic people are going to be making a killing with how many people are getting injured in not racquetball, but pickleball.
Shout out racquetball though. That was a hell of a lot of fun.
I loved racquetball, dude. My cousin was stationed at Nellis Air Force Base, and I remember like whenever he came over, he was just like, "Hey, I'm in the Air Force. I have this cool job. I'm on Nellis Air Force Base." And I'm like, this guy is like a machine gunner or something. I'm like, he has a cool job. I was like, I want to see it. And then he takes us on base, shows us all this cool shit. And then we get to the rec center and he goes, "This is where I work." And I was like, dude, you run a gym? I was like out here. I was like, thank you for your service over here, making sure the racquetballs are going back into the tubes.
Now, is he Air Force employee or was he a civilian on the base?
No, he was enlisted, so he's
okay.
Yeah, but that was one of his jobs apparently on base was So that's how he made his money, and it was awesome because he's like, hey, my mom was like, hey, can you watch the boys today? And he's like, hell yeah, I'm taking them to work. He's like, do you guys want to go play basketball all day, racquetball, Olympic-sized pool, all this stuff? He goes, all day? And I'm like, oh, that sounds awful. Please don't make us go. No. It was so fun.
I'm gonna, like we always do, we're gonna go off into a little tangent. You ever meet anybody who, and we're touching some weird waters with this one, but do you ever meet anybody who kind of, instead of supports the troops, puts down the troops?
Yes.
That's a good question.
At least not publicly. What I mean by that is I'll give you an example. You bring up what you just said. I had a cousin who had a stepdad. Now, this is probably part of the reason because it's his stepdad. But his stepdad served in Nam. He was served in Vietnam, right? He was a Vietnam veteran. Well, his dad was military police on base, right, or on post, excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
So he served as military police on an army post, like at an army post, like so he wasn't infantry out in the field, right, like or airborne or anything like that. He wasn't a machine gunner. So my cousin was putting him down. I was like, you didn't even see action. So like, and I'll give you another example. I had somebody run for mayor recently who won. He's now the Hastings mayor. Jay Beckby, shout out.
Shout out, Jay.
Let's go.
He was in the military for decades. I don't want to try to put a number on it, but there were people online was like, oh, he only served in the National Guard. Like that's a put down or something like so. Like there's people who will put like, damn, dude, really? This is what we're doing. So you ever met anybody like that who tries to make distinctions and like, oh, that's not actually the blank blank blank.
I know Euban has, so I'm gonna save the best for last, as they say, because I think the only ones that I personally ever seen is kind of branch versus branch messing, like an Army guy saying, or a Marine saying the Army sucks, or the Army saying the Air Force is the chair force. I've seen that, but at the end of the day, I don't think it's actual hate. But
from the outside, from civilians. So yeah.
Yeah, and I don't think a civilian has any place to say anything, but that's our take.
Look at me.
No,
I
don't know
water
anybody
out of a tea bottle. I can't speak on anything.
Yeah, same. I was never, as they say, I would say man enough, but now that's a can't say that anymore. 2025. I was never brave enough, or it just wasn't something that I was interested in. But
Euban?
So I was going to just exactly say what you guys were going to say is it was branch versus branch. So I had a guy so he would shit on the guard.
Whoa.
Because he was like, oh, he's the guard. He's not really serving and everything, but they all respect each other, but they do. That's the only time that I really heard it as well, was amongst each other.
I think there's only a couple of things that we all agree on. We love our troops and we hate our cowboys. I think that's the only thing America really can get behind.
Yeah. But there definitely is an undercurrent that I've seen, and I'm sure you guys have too, of people who anonymously are saying online terrible things about troops, about, nowadays isn't the same as it was in World War II, right? You're not fighting for our freedom, so to speak, right? You're fighting for oil is the argument that I always hear and stuff. And it's like, dude, what an oversimplified, terrible opinion to have.
Wait, they're trying to say that, things are different now than in the 40s?
Right.
Weird.
Right.
I would have never imagined. Of course it's different. Everything's different.
Anyway. You know what's going to be really different is when we're about 60 70 and we start talking about the 40s as it being like 10 years ago. So,
God damn.
Bro, I'm telling you, every time like I get okay with being older, I get older, and it's like, oh man, I was okay with 30, and now I'm looking at the doorstep of 40, and I'm like, oh fuck, man.
See, it's mentally really not weighing on me. Like I'm not sitting here saying like I need to, go to therapy tomorrow or anything like. But I'm gonna be 40 in a couple of weeks, and it's just got me thinking like a different, weird mindset. I don't know. It's just because as morbid as it sounds, it could. Maybe I've already hit the halfway point, but maybe this is the halfway point. And as I'm scrolling, of course, your phones really know what you're thinking, what you're saying. And as I was thinking today, I'm like, Jesus Christ, I'm 40. Don't I see a good old Gary V post speaking to me? And it's like 40 is a very fascinating age. A lot of people, they start reflecting on their lives when they hit their 40s. They think they've already peaked. I'm like, you're speaking to me, Gary V. Truth is, 40 isn't even halftime. Like, all right, here comes motivational Gary V. Even if you have a mortgage, you have too much debt, too much responsibility, you have so much time to turn things around. It's fascinating what can happen to your life if you give yourself some grace. So he says to all my 40-somethings out there, please change your perspective. You'll be stunned by how it changes your life. I read it this morning. My life hasn't changed one bit, Gary V, you son of a bitch.
Piece of shit.
I like that because, we've talked about this backstage a little bit, but we come on here and we make, semen jokes and dick jokes and this and that. But at the end of the day, we're all dads. And right now we're in we're all in different stages of life. But at the same point, like we go through spurts where all of a sudden it's like, we're broke. How are we going to make this bill meet? How are we going to do this? Oh my God, 40-40. But then you look, and I kind of said something to Brandon today. I'm like, in a couple of years, because I was like, man, we are so goddamn busy. We've been in a gym like 7 days, this and that. And I said, you know what though? When your kids are starting to go through this, because Brandon made the joke, he's like, remind me in a couple of years to make sure my kids read a lot of books. And I'm like, it's gonna hit to the point where your kids are gonna be going through the sports and all of this stuff here, and my kids I'm gonna be like an empty nester, and I'm gonna be like missing the hell out of it, and it's just a wild ride, and then they're gone, and then all of a sudden it's like I remember like my parents' journey, like struggling, getting through it, doing as much as they could for us, and all of a sudden we're out of there, and now they get to go on cruises every goddamn month. They're retired early. I'm like, I was really holding them back.
You expensive fuck. God
right?
Damn. No, that's like my wife always reminds me. She's like, we are gonna miss this, and I'm like, damn, I really don't right now. I just not a fan of it right now. But I know you and I were texting about just nonstop gym time and just different sports, and just I even found I got volunteered to ref a tournament, and I'm like, what in the world am I doing? And I actually heard that most people after like 35, it's like a high percentage will not sprint anymore. I have no reason to run at a full sprint. Right. And so I'm just like, damn. So I'm like reffing and I am just booking it. These little third and fourth graders have some wheels, dude. I have this whistle in my mouth. And I'm breathing or exhaling so hard that the whistle goes off. So they just stop real quick. I'm like, just fat. Don't worry about me. No, that's no foul. Don't worry. I was like,
that was out my nose.
Exhaling.
Did you get screamed at by some parents?
So I'm not gonna lie, I made one big boo boo. I spaced out because these two girls were going at it. I had to keep separating them because they were throwing elbows, throwing fists, and I was like, seriously, one more time, and like, you guys are both done. I was like, this is supposed to be fun. What the hell are you doing? So I'm like waiting for it, and I'm looking for it. My intention's on that, and I just hear, "Oh my God, can I get the freaking timeout?" And I go, "Oh shit, yeah, timeout." And she's like, "My God," and I'm like, I didn't hear her say that once. I look at the timetable, and they're like, "Bro, easily like a minute," like screaming, and I'm like, yeah. Did not hear it. So, did I get screamed at? Yes. Did I deserve it? Absolutely. Yeah, that was rough. Yeah. First time though, so that was their fault.
In the gym that we played this weekend, it was even worse for referees and sometimes even players because they took the one gym, and it's a larger gym, and they're built to do it, but they split them in half. So you're playing sideways, which it's almost a full court, but it's definitely not full court. You know what I mean? Then they line each side on the outsides with chairs with parents. So there's 2 rows of chairs and then parents just standing everywhere. The middle is all of the players in the score table. So, I mean, you are just on top of the players, the game. I mean, the ball, you're pretty much throwing the ball in while sitting on somebody's lap. You know what I mean? And those refs, I was talking to one of the guys after, and he's like, yep. He goes, I'll do one day. I don't do the double anymore because these parents, they just get too spazzy. The coaches, like all of these people forget that this is supposed to be fun and developmental. Like they're freaking out over a 37-cent medal that you might win at the end.
Yeah. It's and even some of the fans, like, you'll hear some of the parents like, come on. And I'm like, and like there was one where you can clearly hear that it was all ball, and the mom just got very upset and like made eye contact with me, and everything. But those were the only 2 times because I did remember her too.
Yep.
She sucked.
If you ever get into a situation,
are you sure? Did you ask her husband? I mean,
ooh,
sorry,
single mom, so she doesn't.
She was sitting alone for good reason.
Yep. But my favorite move is I've had to pull this move a couple of times is when they start freaking out over the top. I stop the game, make it a production, and go, take off the whistle, hand it to them, sit right down, and go, all right, go ahead. This game will not continue until you go. You know this game better than I do. Go on, volunteer your time just like I'm volunteering mine, and then we'll resume play. And the last one that I did it with the dad, grandfather, uncle, whatever, was a dude, and he was just like, point taken. I will not say another goddamn word. And I was like, good.
Yeah.
Back to the court.
It's always the loudest people that you never see actually volunteering to work the concession stand, just doing anything to help contribute at all. And then you got my ass who shouldn't be dealing with the public at all, especially in a school setting. The hell? But there I am every damn time doing my practical community service. I'm keeping a track too. So that way, if I ever get in trouble and they're like, oh, you need to do like 2 hours of community service, I'm like, I got 400 here, sir. What else can I fuck up here in an hour,
Time already served. Does it work like that with community service? Can you
It
pre-do
better.
community service, kind of like jail time? Well, sir, I've already been in here 6 months and I only got 8 months. Good behavior. Am I out?
It's got to be a thing. Hey, lawyers in the comments, please tell us. Is that a thing? It should.
You think lawyers are listening to us? Not even
should
my
be.
lawyer listens to us.
I forgot to. Daddy's off probation. Let's go.
Heyo. But
We're growing.
but at the end of the day too, like you're doing this and we kid around and bitch about it enough, but it's like we're doing this to build memories for the kids. Hopefully that they see this and someday they decide not to be pieces of trash and they kind of continually do good things with their life and with the memories and the kids. There's one thing that we do that I think is absolutely hilarious, that if the kids actually listen to this, which they know they're not allowed to, they'll probably get super embarrassed, but so in our laundry room is a bathroom as well, and that's usually like mine and the wife's bathroom. It's where we shower. It's where I take all of my dumps. I got the squatty potty. I got my bidet. Like it's my throne. Well, the kids are older now, so know the little magnets with all the letters and numbers, the like rainbow colored ones. Like some are yellow, some are green, and they're magnetic. A lot of people have them in the fridge. Well, as we got older, they don't want them on the fridge, so I put them on the washer at one point. So now when I'm taking a dump, I make funny little sayings and stuff like "this kid tooted," but there's only limited letters. So next thing you know, like I'll go in the next day and somebody else put a different funny saying. So now it's like this thing that whenever anybody's peeing or pooping or doing laundry, which let's be honest, they're not doing it, there's all these different messages. So I just recently bought a whole nother 100-pack of them, and we're just gonna the wife's like, you guys are so weird. I think it's hilarious.
That's fun.
That's hilarious. That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm so excited to have so many, because right now I think I have like one S, one E. Like I can barely spell like toot. I can't spell fart. I can't spell poop. I can't spell any swear words. Like it's gonna be so much more fun.
So I think I mentioned this before, but have you guys ever purchased anything on Tmoo?
Yes.
I believe, yeah.
Did you guys enjoy your products from Tmoo? Or Temu, however it's pronounced.
Hey, I'm not going to correct your pronunciation. I'm still not sure how to say Oregon or Oregon. So
I'll give you a glimpse into my opinion of Tmoo.
Ooh.
Bought several items, had very low expectations. One
big
was
ticket items or like cheaper items?
Shit, no.
Okay.
No, I think you go on there and you get like, oh, you got a free $100. Oh, look at this, a free thumb in the butt. Like they'll give you like free everything, and so you end up having to spend like $40 to get, but you're getting like 18 things, and you're like, oh man, do I really want all this shit? But there were two items that kind of explain how the range that Tmoo can hold from the small ticket items. The first one was a fountain pen that you had to like actually buy ink for and pour the ink in there, and like actually you don't pour the ink in there. You put the pen in there and it like a little syringe, yeah. And the fucking pen stopped working after like 2 hours.
You should have just got a quail.
It was a heavy pen. It was like a metal pen. It was heavy. They were like actually like it wasn't plastic or fake, or it was that fucking hefty pen.
Do you have good, like you have good handwriting, like enough where you could spend decent money on a nice pen?
No, not even a little bit.
Okay.
But I write enough, and I'm like, when I'm on the show, I take live calls, people buy, sell, trade, and I have to do shorthand, and so
okay,
I want a pen that flows well and not a ballpoint, because a ballpoint you have to like push down, you know what I mean? Anyway,
so what he's saying is, hey, pen sponsors out there, slide into Brandon J's DMs, baby.
Yes, but not pen 12 or 13. We're actually specifically looking for number 15. Did you see that? On the opposite side, I bought on a whim, like, okay, yeah, throw this extra bullshit in there, whatever, we'll see. It was a little container that was it held oil, cooking oil, and you sprayed. It was a little spray
Oh
container.
yeah, I've seen those.
Oh my God, the best kitchen tool I've ever fucking had. Are you kidding me? Like,
Right.
amazing. Oh my God, it's beautiful. I spray my cast iron down with the fucking thing, and it's like,
Ooh,
oh, why haven't I used it? Because usually it's like you get one of those things, you have to pour the oil, you have to rub the oil. It's like, no, fucking spray it. There you go. It's perfect.
that's brilliant. That's brilliant. For
I've seen
for
people.
me on the Tmoo, whatever you say, I think the only thing I really bought was a set of the wireless mics, the ones that you can plug into your phone, and it came with like a dual set just to try it, and they were okay. I mean, they worked. Two people could have a conversation, but it was just so not great. I mean, but I think it was like 498 or something like that. So I wasn't expecting too much, but like I mean, it's not going to sound like this by any means, but it should.
Yeah, that's my kids always orders. You saw that, right? That happened
Yeah, the
again.
light again.
The fuck?
So for anybody that's just listening, if you hear this weird thing and we're all looking at Euban on camera, he's got a light thing going on, and it might be Casper. You might be a friendly ghost. It could be something, or for anybody that doesn't believe in ghosts, scientifically prove it to us. Maybe he's got some faulty wiring in his studio. Is in a world of trouble.
Yeah.
So I don't,
Oh yeah.
I
I've
don't know if
seen
you can
It's the
see
Michael
that.
Jackson one. It doesn't matter if you're white or black.
I've seen people use that with popcorn butter. That's what I saw. They're like, "Hey, life hack. I'm going to use this, but put popcorn butter in it." I'm like, "That's the fattest fucking thing I've ever seen in my life," and I want to do it. Like, yes, so. I want you to get another one, and please put some popcorn butter in it. Let me know if it's worth it.
Ooh.
'Cause
Oh,
Speaking of
I will.
popcorn, do you guys do the Poppin' popcorn sales anywhere near you?
It
I
doesn't
think that's
sound
what it's called.
familiar.
Poppin'. Yeah, it's called Poppin' popcorn, and it is a it's a sale that the kids would do a fundraiser or whatever. It has to be one of the most brilliant marketing things of all time. So how it is, it's a fundraiser set up that the organization that does it and the company Poppin' Popcorn, they split the proceeds 50-50. It's all done online. And what they do is they started off with this like power hour. So you get the whole entire group together for 50, well, it's a 59-minute sale, and they have a script, they have this, and then all of the kids just start calling, texting, whatever they want to try to get as many sales as you can. And then they have goals. If you sell so much, you get this. If you're in the top 3, you get so much of this. And it's just they have a lot of popcorn, they have cookies, all sorts of candy, all this other stuff. And the only reason there's a girls basketball program that my daughter's involved in, and they did the sale, and the amount of money that they made and never have to touch the product. Like sometimes they'll do pie sales, pizza sales. They'll come in, you got to deliver all this. The kids just get the sale. It's all done online. It's all tracked by person to the organization, and then it's directly shipped to them. And if this company is able to make money giving 50% right to you, and then they still get 50%, that has to be a 70 to 80% markup on said products.
Hmm.
Isn't that brilliant?
Oh, it is.
And it
And
is
then you tie in
fantastic.
you tie in the fundraiser point of view, and it's like, heartstrings, and I guess I'll do it so I don't look like a bad person.
So it's $20 for a bag of popcorn, the gourmet popcorn, right? And the bag that I got was 23 and a half ounces. So I mean, it's a large bag, and it was caramel something popcorn. It's fantastic. And I mean, I've been taking handfuls for about a week or two, and we still haven't finished the bag. But where they get you is it's $20 for all popcorn, whether it's a 7-ounce bag, a 9.5-ounce bag, 13, 16, all the way up to 23 and a half. So I'm like, yeah, I'm cheap. And I know Euban definitely thinks my way. Why wouldn't I get the 23 and a half? I don't give a shit what the flavor is. I'm getting the 23 and a half if it's the same as the 20.
I remember a friend used to work at a movie theater, and she used to come every month on the weekends. She did a part timer at this job I worked at, but she worked at the movie theater as well. And she would bring on Mondays a big old bag of popcorn from the movie theater every Monday. And I realized to myself how cheap popcorn was and how terribly overpriced it is. No matter where you go, least so at grocery stores, even there, it's still kind of expensive. But yeah, popcorn. We love our popcorn as Americans, but we are dumb as shit for paying the amount that we pay for it.
Oh, for sure. And I'll tell you what, the worst fucking popcorn ever, Boy Scouts. I'm not even afraid to admit it. You know what? That is the...
Are they still... They're not Boy Scouts anymore, though, are they?
Oh, sorry.
Maybe it's gotten better.
The Scouts.
It hasn't, because I bought one recently. I think it was last summer. And that's definitely after, I think, the change. But this kid was out there. He's like, oh, sir, you want to buy some popcorn? I'm like, oh, yeah. And I see that they have s'mores popcorn. And I'm like, 100%. Let's try that. That sounds good as hell.
How could this go wrong, right?
Yeah, it's like those two items. Like, I like each of those things. That sounds good. Let's put them together. And it wasn't necessarily the flavor, but it was just the popcorn in general, just boo-boo. And I think it was like $26. Disgusting. And I think they even had like basic, just like white cheddar or just regular popcorn as well. Tried that from a friend who's even like, try this. He goes, does this taste stale? And I go, what's it from? He goes, Boy Scouts. And I was like, or the Scouts. And I was like, it's disgusting. I was like, they're trying to compete with the cookies from the girls.
So to put this in perspective, I did some research because I was like, I want to know how to make some gourmet popcorn. Because there was actually a business that sold recently, and I debated buying the building just to turn it into a studio. But it came with all the equipment. I'm like, I might be slinging some gourmet popcorn. And they told me that one of the best kernels you can buy is the Orville Redenbacher or whatever, that brand is one of the best. You can buy 16 pounds of kernels for $26.50. 16 pounds of kernels. And if you're selling that, say at 20 ounces, yes, you got to buy a little bit come on, you're not putting that much in for some caramel, some chocolate, this and that. It is a huge profit maker.
That's insane.
I'm looking up real quick. How much is the average profit margin on popcorn sales? Do we have any guesses?
Oh God, I wouldn't even know where to begin, but I can guarantee it's pretty big.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Okay, so the Google AI says the average profit margin of popcorn sales is often 70 to 90%, but a lot of places, and of course this depends on overhead and all these other factors, it can reach up to 1,000% profit margin.
Did we just find our business?
We need to go ahead. Wow. I mean, if that's true.
Well, here was my thing. I'm not going to lie to you guys. If it's around and I'm sitting down and watching a movie and somebody has it and they hand me some, I'll eat it. I never in my life have sought out popcorn. Fucking take it or leave it. Shit. Worst case scenario, like best case scenario, get stuck in my fucking teeth. I don't even fuck out of here with popcorn.
When we're camping,
fake ass fucking snack. Get out of here.
In the camping one, the Jiffy Pop with the thing that you put over the fire. Oh, it's some goddamn good popcorn.
See, I'm just not a fan. But the thing that's nuts is my wife said to me, she goes, Brandon, we need to start at the county fair a popcorn little thing. You'll pay their little whatever the fee is to be there, and for 3 days we'll burn our asses off and make a bunch of money. Every fucking place I've ever been to, that's a fair, that's an event, it's in the spring or the summertime. Popcorn, kettle corn, fucking, they've got something, right? These motherfuckers are making bank. Sure, there's some investment on the machinery and the inventory, but like,
you could get one on Tmoo. This person right here on Reddit said, and this is the Reddit thread today I learned. A friend of mine told me that when he sells one single large portion of popcorn, it covers the cost of all of the kernels that he spends in one day. That his popcorn cart averages $2,000 profit a day.
That's insane.
Granted,
insane.
you have to imagine, like you said, it's got to be a big festival or something like that. But to sell $2,000 of popcorn when you're selling it a couple of bucks a bag, but whew.
And I forgot to mention too, I ended up getting a jersey too from Tmoo. It was Bobby Boucher from the Waterboy.
Solid,
dude. It's stitched lettering and everything as well. $9.
That's pretty.
So I was like, if it's garbage, it's $9. I've wasted more money on worse shit in my life. So
Mm-hmm.
But the kids, my son gets knockoff NFL jerseys. He just wants to collect like his favorite players. So
Yeah.
he got a Lamar Jackson jersey, and I was like, boo. Except for in fantasy, love Lamar Jackson.
Yeah. It's a good
But
one.
it's funny whenever you hold it up, like the eights don't match up. Like whenever we were like looking through like the sun, so it's like I don't know, it's very off centered and everything. But I was like, "How much do you spend on that?" And he's like, $11. And I was like, "You rock it, buddy, rock it." I was like, "It looks
Mm-hmm.
good, looks good."
Go play some
Uh,
flag football. Do whatever you need in that jersey, bud.
yeah, well, I was looking at other jerseys that'd be kind of cool. I was like, they have like the Clark Griswold Chicago Blackhawks jersey or
Yep.
whatever. I was like, that looks sick. Then they had Polk High Bundy jersey. And I was like, ooh, that looks cool
Ooh.
too. So, well, he's going to go with actual players. I'm like, I want to go with fictional ones. They had Gump on there as well, which that was pretty basic, you know.
Yeah.
But I
But
was
at
like,
some point
still
too, like
funny.
we get to an age too where it's almost awkward or weird, or people look at you a little bit extra when you're wearing a jersey in public in a lot of situations. Like, I mean, if you're at the softball game, a sporting event, yeah, it is. But when you're walking through the old Walfart, or you're walking through maybe the supply where there's tractors or something like that, and you're rocking a jersey, people are going, "What the? This guy? What the
Not
hell is
here.
he selling drugs, or is he just, high on the spectrum?"
Actually, around here, you see it everywhere. It's I
Hmm.
don't know about you, Brandon, but
Oh, what was the
especially
question about men wearing jerseys? Is that what you're talking about
yeah, like
specifically?
football jerseys in public. At least maybe we're so close to the Chiefs
Kansas City.
Stadium.
Yeah. Have we talked about this before? Like, I had a friend who had the conversation that the idea that grown men shouldn't wear jerseys of other men,
We
and
have.
Yes.
I don't. I mean, I own jerseys. I have a jersey upstairs of Le'Veon Bell when he played for the Jets, bro. Like, fucking, it was on sale and I bought it. And I've got like a James Brown jersey I'll never fit in my life, but I don't put those on. Like, I don't wear them unless it's a joke and I'm doing some kind of like thing. But I gotta tell you, when we've talked about this too, college football fans versus pro football fans. Pro football fans, generally speaking, tend to be trashier. Did you see the fucking Eagles fan thing yesterday? Like, why are the Eagles fans and Philadelphia in general so fucking trashy, dude?
Because
Jesus Christ.
Philly's trash, 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 trash.
I've got some friends from Kensington, an area in Philly, and that's like the like white trash capital of
That's
fucking
pretty
evil.
bad there. That's like,
Yeah.
isn't that like the one of the worst fentanyl?
Fentanyl. Oh
Yeah.
God. I had a friend who just stopped posting on Facebook. Come to find out many months later why, right? Living in Philadelphia. So it's sadly, shit happens,
Mm-hmm.
but man, they're just some fucking trashy. Like in college, we will troll the shit out of you online. Fuck you, your fan base sucks. You haven't had a national title since 1958. And even then, that's a self-claimed one. It's not even real. But I'm not going to come to the stadium, call your wife the blank word, push her, taunt you to your car, spit in your face. I'm like, this is like just as bad as the hooliganism of the Brits over there who watch soccer games. Like, those dudes will kill you. Like, they're fucking nuts.
They actually will, yeah.
And
But
like,
you got to think too, college football, a lot of these people are going to college football, probably either went to that college or maybe they went to the junior college nearby and they kind of maybe took one class one time, so they went there. So maybe because it doesn't happen like that at these college games because there's more educated people.
I see that point. I don't want to say it's wrong, but I will say that at least here for Nebraska, I can't speak for every place, but I know Nebraska. There was a survey done. Now, whether or not there's good data there or not, who knows? But there was a survey done that showed the University of Nebraska fans,
Mm-hmm.
very small percentage have actually went to the university. I mean, we're believe it or not, University of Nebraska. You want to guess the enrollment? I mean, if you get for the whole school, whole University of Nebraska Lincoln, the enrollment for the school,
2,500.
at 25,000. Not bad, right? Do you want to guess the enrollment for UCF in Orlando?
2,500.
It's like
70.
50,000, maybe more. It's nuts. It's out of this world. But enrollment doesn't exactly equate to fans, right? There's Arizona State's got a huge amount of fucking students in enrollment. Doesn't necessarily mean there's a lot of Arizona State fans running around out there, right? But I guess they're going to be more this year or next year. But I think college football, specifically the South. You think a lot of those Alabama fans went to school? Motherfucker, you're lucky to go to school tomorrow. You know what I mean? Go to work tomorrow.
What's the one big Roll Tide fan? The white dude that's a severe alcoholic? Roll Tide Bob or something like that. Have you seen him on social media?
Is he the one that used to call in or whatever? And there was somebody that used to call in and scream at one of the TV personalities. I can't remember. That was a big Roll Tide or Alabama fan. I can't remember who it was.
While you're looking it up, last thing I want to say is this. The point I'm really just trying to make is that college football, specifically in places like where we live, Euban, even though you're really close to the city, in places where we live, where we're out in the middle of nowhere, we don't have. I mean, yes, we got the Chiefs close. There's a lot of Chiefs fans here. There's a lot of Broncos fans here. But Nebraska, our identity is the football team. And there's a lot of places that in the South specifically, in Alabama, in Mississippi, in Louisiana, even though they have the Saints, like those college teams mean something because grandpa went to school there, right? Or stuff like that. It's different with pro football. Like my dad was a Vikings fan. I don't give two shits about the Vikings, but he was a Husker fan. And we grew up watching the Huskers. I grew up watching the Vikings too. But I don't know. It's built into the milieu of the state, and there's not very many places like this. But you go to North Dakota, you go to South Dakota, you go to Montana. It's the same way with those schools. North Dakota State, South Dakota State, Montana State. So
can't play it unless I log in.
That sucks.
Well, I was gonna say you mentioned like, oh, that's where Grandpa went and everything. My grandfather went to KU, and I will die before I ever root for them sons of bitches. So, but no, it's I like MU, so I can't. I just refuse.
But I think here in America, the only thing we have that's comparable to the depth that fandom goes for soccer in premier soccer in England, which has gone back 100+ years, 150 years, I think, maybe more. I don't know, in some places with some of those clubs, but it's passed on. Grandpa cheers, dad cheers. You're not allowed in this house if you cheer for Tottenham. You're not allowed in this house if you're cheering for fucking, Crystal Palace or whoever, Manchester, whoever. But, similarly here, like I grew up, first time I ever saw my dad cry, Nebraska won the national title when I was fucking 8 years old, so like that kind of stuff. Like it means something here. People take it to heart. It's not the same with pro football. Sure, we get sad when we lose, and I cried when the Broncos lost when I was 10, but it's not the same.
Yeah.
I have seen.
I think this is him, but just gonna fire up. It's this old guy. I found him on YouTube. God damn it! Why play?
Fame. How are you dealing with the girls?
They love me and I love them back. I love them to death, but they too young and can't mess with them. I have one kiss me here, one here, and they turn around, won't take a picture. I said, oh, Lord.
Well, tell them how I tell you to take the pictures, Willie, with them women.
Yeah, but keep your hands up. I said, I like the picture. Do not touch.
I mean, that guy is all over social media. And I guess he got in a bunch of trouble because he was selling merchandise like you could see on there with the A and all that stuff. And I guess the SEC stopped in and they actually banned him from like any college football, Alabama, because he was making profit off it. But some people have tried to step in. I don't know if it's going to help, but he is always like if you were to look in the definition of you can't drink all day if you don't start in the morning, this guy wakes up, drinks, like severe alcoholic, and just goes on rants, Alabama, and apparently pretty racist. So he has to kind of be toned down quite a bit before the real bad word comes out of his mouth, which I guess happens quite a bit. But there was a comedian and I don't know, somebody that was there. I forget what it was. He was doing all the podcast tours right now. I think he's got a new show or something coming out. And Roll Tide Willie's so goddamn stupid. He didn't think that this guy was actually African American. He thought he was just tan. And then when he found out, he actually was like shocked and almost like stopped talking to him. Like that's how Southern and drunk this guy is. It was pretty bad.
Jeez.
Yeah. But I mean, you could even just see in that video, I mean, his eyes glassed right over, just so goddamn drunk. I'm surprised that Garage Beer hasn't made a run at him yet. Maybe they have. I don't know. He's got to be sponsored by somebody. It's got to be. But Roll Tide Willie.
He'll be on Kensington before much longer, probably. Just fitting right in.
He is. He is a beaut, as they say down there. But speaking of jerseys and stadiums and stuff, Euban, man, you just went to the Bills KC game as a Cowboys fan, as an anti-Chiefs fan, and we haven't had a conversation to be able, or we haven't had any time to. I got to hear about it, man.
Dude, so it was honestly like a really, really cool experience, except for the fact that the Chiefs won. That was pretty depressing. But man, it's so he was talking about people, girls taking pictures with him. Now I had some ladies that were sitting in front of us that were asking, they're like, "Hey, do you mind taking a picture of us and everything?" I was like, "Yeah, I got you. I take the picture and everything, give the phone back, and then the other girl was like, can you use my phone too? And I was like, okay, you guys just can't share the same fucking picture.
You didn't sneak in a selfie? Because that's my move. If anybody ever does, that's exactly what I do. I go, hold on here. Selfie. So one more. All right.
Dude, I even told my friend, I was like, all these people are going to get a selfie of me. And I was like, but it was so cold too. Like I couldn't keep like switching it on the phone fast enough. So I was like, yeah, fuck this. I was like, but I had 6 different people because I kept joking around saying, I was like, yeah, I'm actually a professional photographer. And I was like, and then so like people next to me, like these guys were like, hey, can you get us too? And I was like, yeah. They're like, can you go run one row back though? So it can be a little bit higher up so we can get the field. And I was like, Jesus
Fuck
Christ.
off.
I was like, I'm going to charge you a session. I was like, this is not really worth my time. And they're like, I'm sorry. I was like, I'm fucking with you guys. And then I take the picture. I was like, this is a weird Grindr profile photo. And they're like, you son of a bitch. And so my friend who invited me he's like, dude, you have to make a scene of where you go. And I was like, absolutely. But these 2 girls, after they give me each their phones.
How many cups did they have? One?
How many cups do they have? What are you talking about?
The 2 girls? Never mind.
Oh, gotcha. 2 girls, 1
There it
cup.
is.
Gotcha. I thought you were talking about, I was like, I think they were C's, but they, the girl, I give them each back their phone and I'm like, all right, so this has got to be done. And she goes, hey, and I was like, all right, what else? She hands me a disposable fucking camera, like a Fuji film. And I'm like, mind you, she's rocking a 90s starter jacket. And I'm like, we have a time traveler in our presence. So I kept asking her, I was like, who wins?
How old do you think this person was? 20s, 30s, 40s?
Late 20s, maybe early 30s.
Okay.
No, you know what? It's gotta be late 20s because what she looked at me and she was like, hey, to use it, you just gotta, and I go, bitch, I was born in 1990. And everyone behind me started laughing and everything. And I was like, fucking know how to use it. And she goes, you gotta look through like the little square. And I kind of like batted her hand and I go, I know how to use this fucking thing. And I was like, back up. I was like, but I was like, where the fuck are you getting this developed? I was like, is this still a thing? Is there still little kiosk huts somewhere like where they dispose film? Fucking what is going on? I didn't know that was still a thing.
You can still drop them off in the disposables and stuff. The only shitty part is, and being a photo nerd, because I used to work the photo lab, that when they send them in, you don't get to keep your negatives anymore. When they send them in, you get the pictures and then they more or less destroy the negatives. It's not a service that sends them back because everything's outsourced. This and that is what I was told when I went to the only place that does photography around me with is Walfart.
Damn.
Walgreens does it where I'm at, but yeah.
Yeah, we don't have one near us anymore.
But tall boys, super expensive. As you guys know, I don't drink unless I usually go to some kind of big event. And this guy was like, hey, I'm driving. And he's like, I packed a cooler so we can pregame before we get in there. And I'm like, okay, fuck, don't twist my arm. And I was like, I'm only going to have a few. I'm an addict. I never have just one. So we're like crushing these Michelob Ultras, which I usually don't drink either. So I was like, oh, okay. Slam 3 of the like slim boys or whatever before we even get in there. And then I'm like, hey, I see some tall boys. I'm like, since you took me, I don't have to pay for anything. I was like, oh, let me get you a couple beers. And he's like, yeah, for sure. And I was like, it's cold outside. We'll be able to keep him in there. It's going to stay cold. Hell yeah. Less trips. We each have 2 tall boys. And she's like, that'll be $84. And I go, I said 4 tall boys, not 40. And then she's like, $84. And I'm like, damn.
Ooh.
I was like, holy shit.
You could have got 4 bags of 23.5-ounce popcorns for that.
That's parking was $70, dude. But there was and I'm like, man, dude. I was like, and you guys need help building that? Like, they want some stadium improvements and everything else. Yeah, you're raking up a lot with just parking. Fucking insane.
And there was how many people there? 40,000 or whatever the stadium holds. You probably.
I think it's like 75,000, almost 80,000. I think.
I am
So,
really good at numbers today.
what is it? Is that how much it is? I mean, I don't know. I think it's. I thought it was
No,
close.
remember, because I was like, 2,000. Apparently, that's not it. It brought me to the KFC Yum Center. That's in Louisville.
Oh, sounds good too. By the way, I'm hungry.
KC Stadium capacity 76,416.
That's close. Okay,
It's the 25th largest stadium.
There's, dude. It's, and you know how they say it's the loudest outdoor stadium, whatever. It's so fucking incredible there. They get so loud, but there were so many Bills fans there. There was one tailgating party that had 300 Bills fans. I'm not even joking. It was insane.
And
But
as soon as that final play happened and you knew it was over, when they did the cameras to the crowd going nuts, every aisle was full of those Bills fans. Just
it's because what's crazy too is like I got all these Chiefs fans around me and everything, and I'm just like, oh my god. And my buddy's going crazy. He's like, 3P baby, 3P, and I'm like, ugh. Terrible. But I didn't get to watch any of the NFC Championship game at all because they had it on. Well, they put a little bit of it on the jumbotron, so that's why like Rob's like, hey, everybody's quiet in the chat. And I'm like, brother, there's no service at this stadium. I got shit. I was like, I don't even know who fucking won.
I was in the gym. We were coaching, playing all day. Didn't get over there. Me and a buddy were starting to watch it on the phone. Then we had to go coach and do this. And then by the time we even got out of there, the Bills game had already started. The family was hungry. All I wanted was fucking Dairy Queen. And they close early on Sundays or something. I don't know if everyone does, but this one there. So I had to settle for some KFC. Not a bad settle, but.
Somebody posted a Dairy Queen meme today on Facebook that actually got me. It was they said I went to go to Dairy Queen to get a Blizzard, and they said that they were out of Reese's. And so I was like, hey, man, don't worry about it. It's not your fault. The guy working there was like, actually, it is. I've been fucking slacking a little bit, and I'm supposed to be ordering that stuff. And I was like, you know what? We like an accountability king. Like, good for you. If someone told me that, they're like, fuck, dude, I've been kind of slacking a little bit. I probably should have ordered that. I'm like, fair enough. You know what? Let's go Butterfinger. Who cares?
That's a move you pulled in the day, wasn't it? He's learning from you.
Oh, for sure. Dude, those cheesecake bites. I remember my boss being like, why are we going through so many of these? Like, we never even like sell a lot of this stuff. Fuck, I don't know. It ain't me just like a fucking little mouse over there just hovering over that little box every time I go in the freezer to grab some hamburger patties. Snacking on them fucking cheesecake bites. It was so easy to get to. And for some reason, you put it in there, you didn't bite it immediately. You just let it melt in your mouth.
Ooh.
It was so good.
Talk
Look at that. Brandon's getting hard. He's rubbing one right now. He's like, how was the crust? It's so good.
I'm literally texting my wife about dinner. I'm like, you know what sounds good right now? Grilled cheese with bologna on it. Oh, boys. Do you know what I did? 2 fingers. No,
He's talking about scotch.
I've told you guys about, that's right. I told you guys about Taylor ham before, that New Jersey like bologna type stuff, right? Right. We talked about Taylor ham or pork roll, depending on where you're from. In Jersey, South Jersey versus North Jersey.
Fuck Jersey.
I went and bought some new pork roll or Taylor ham. Bought 6 pounds of the shit.
Ooh.
They had a deal where it was 6 pounds. Now, have you ever been to the city, Matt?
Which city?
New York. Sorry.
Yes, I have.
Have you had you ever had a street dog? One of the hot dogs? Okay, so did you like it?
Yeah.
Okay, so from what I've been told from a New Yorker and somebody who's from Jersey is that every street hot dog from a street vendor you find, they sell a brand called Sabrett's or something like that. Maybe I'm pronouncing it wrong. Anyway, there's a website, and I'm going to pull this shit up and show you guys.
Pull it up, yeah.
And
I have to remember, I couldn't tell you the brand, and we were pretty drunk, and it tasted friggin' fantastic. And I remember going with Logan one time, and he's, for some reason, said, you can't eat it. You gotta, when you're in New York City, obviously I'm paraphrasing, something about you have to eat off the ground or some shit. I don't know. He took like a piece of his food, rubbed it on the ground, and then ate it.
So they sell this stuff called Taylor ham, which is basically just, it's like a pork bologna type stuff, but it's ham. It's not as salty as Spam, but it's so much better than bologna. Is the only way I can explain it.
That's what I tell my wife whenever I'm trying to get some head.
These are the dogs that they sell. These are Sabrett's is the brand. and 50 hot dogs for $45. I know that's a lot, but I went in and I bought this deal here for $95 and 6 pounds of ham, 50 hot dogs, and then I added in this bad boy, which was mustard and onions, because it's there. If I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it right.
Yeah.
And boys, let me tell you, it is arriving here in 3 days. Just in time for the weekend before my baby's born.
Dude.
It is going to be diarrhea time once I get to that hospital. I'm just telling you that right now.
Hey, at least you'll be in the hospital. You know, need some baby wipes. You're not paying for them. But did you guys know in 1906, the Pure Food and Drug Act actually changed the definition of ham? So that Taylor was forced to rename his product pork roll.
I had no idea.
Little history lesson. It was John Taylor. Because it was originally called Taylor's Prepared Ham. But the only place that uses Taylor ham now is in Jersey. But that's why he had to call it pork roll. Because of the goddamn Pure Food and Drug Act. We're an educational show. But I know Brandon's hungry. Euban's probably hungry as well, and maybe even has to go pick up a kid. I know that I would have to leave and go get a kid or two kids from dance in a couple of minutes, but everything got canceled because apparently we're having snow-nados while you guys are enjoying 50-degree weather in the Midwest and thinking about golfing and stuff. It's going to be 6 degrees here and negative something the next couple of days. So love you guys. That was for you. And I don't know. I got nothing else. I don't know if you guys do.
No.
I got a can of Vienna sausages waiting for me. Ever since he mentioned Spam, I forgot that I bought that shit. I'm fucking destroying it. Oh my God.
Not to make you even more hungry, but I forgot I started a batch of homemade ice cream before the studio. And it's probably going to be pretty shitty because I'm sure that there's none left for me. And unfortunately, with the ice cream maker, you can't just make another batch because you got to wait 24 to 48 hours for the bowl to freeze again. So if I walk in there and there's no ice cream,
be pretty mad.
I'm going to have to eat more popcorn.
I had a friend drop off about this much, like it's about that round. And he's gentle.
Nice.
But about this much of deer sausage with jalapeno and cheese in it, boys. It's so fucking
you guys,
good.
Before we leave, you guys, is that what you guys call it? Deer sausage, deer jerky?
Deer sausage, yeah. What do you guys call it? Venison?
Venison. We're venison guys. So we
Yeah.
fancy it up here in pretty much Canada, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's deer sausage. We got to be distinct because that summer sausage too. That's why every time I walk by that the summer sausage, whatever at Walmart, I always pick it up and give the missus a look, and I just wiggle it around a little bit. I will never grow up, and I absolutely refuse to. Is it even close to the resemblance of a summer sausage? No, more like the Vienna sausage I'm getting ready to eat. Fucking up.
So you're just sending subliminal messages to the wife as you eat that. Hey, best of luck to you boys in that. And obviously, Brandon's getting close to baby 30, so if you don't see him out here for a couple of weeks, months, whatever it takes him to get adjusted to number 3, that is why. We'll have to. Well, no, what we're gonna have to do. We're gonna have to. I know you're a cigar guy, and I've been chatting with the cigar company, so I'm gonna see if I can get a little congratulations, little package over to you. They're upgrading some stuff. There is a code and all that good stuff. I think it's Honeybee Cigars, something like that. But their online stuff, they were switching around new vendors and credit cards and all that good stuff. So I'll send a link and we'll get a care package over to Brandon number 3 baby celebratory, and we'll sit here some episode. Well, you probably can't in your house. Never mind. I was gonna say have a cigar in your house while we do it, but that's probably not good for you with a newborn. So we'll come up with an idea. And but either way, can't thank you guys enough. Obviously, you've been Brandon. Anybody that's still listening, we'll see you guys next week. And make sure you tell those kids to stay out of our goddamn fridge, you little punks. All right, see you next week. Goodbye.